Welcome to the Stunt Collective Podcast. I'm Joop and before we begin, I'd like to take this moment, this opportunity to kind of explain the new look of the show. So obviously the tone, quality, and feel has been redesigned. This is thanks to King Monkey Films, who are now at the helm directing and producing these podcasts. So technically the last podcast that we did with Joe Dennis, episode 6, that was a very successful test of this new format. And so that marks the end of the previous collection of podcasts. So we're going to be rebooting and starting again with episode 1. And I'd like to personally take the time to thank King Monkey Films, IG at King Monkey Films, and you can find them on Facebook too, for totally leveling up and upgrading this forum, without which, let's face it, I'd still be wearing a burp-stained tank top, talking into a plastic computer microphone. So thank you guys. And now King Monkey Films presents the Stunt Collective Podcast. Welcome back to the show, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Be sure to hit that like button and subscribe. Our guest is Andrea Miceli. I'm saying that right?
Yes.
Andrea Miceli. Whew, that was tough. Andrea, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. I'm happy to be here.
No, thank you for being here. I know that it's been quite a day for you. It's been a long day at work, and you still managed to come here looking presentable.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, we've got lots to talk about today. Tell us a little bit about yourself, and what is it that makes you so perfect for stunts?
I perfect for stunts. I would say that's my will to always learn more things, but...
That is true. Hold on, I got to stop you right there. That is so true. Ever since I've known you, you've always been the kind of person that's like, I don't know how to do that yet, but I'm learning.
But I will.
I'm gonna figure it out.
Yeah.
Yes, and you tried. I liked that about you. I really did. I got to tell you that. That was something that I always really appreciated about you. Yeah.
I always enjoy learning new things and stuff, which is great for stunts because every time you do something, it's going to be different.
It is.
But so my background is actually competitive cheerleading. I did it for all throughout high school. I did college cheerleading for a few years, and then I did acrobatics and tumbling. So it's a lot of backflips is my background.
Yeah, you do a lot of backflips. And I got to say that this girl has one of the highest round off back handspring back tucks I have ever seen. I challenge you. If you're out there watching this, I challenge you the next time you see Andrea on set, or you're working with her, or you're at an open gym or something like that, do a back tuck height challenge. Because I've done it and I failed. Joe Williams, I'm looking at you.
Yeah.
Joe Williams. I want to see you go up against Joe Williams on
I was like,
who can do the higher backflip.
I know like my round off back handspring tuck and my round off tuck is definitely bigger than yours.
We're comparing, what are we comparing?
Yeah, we're comparing our tucks.
Andrea, you're making me feel really uncomfortable.
I mean, but it's also something that I did for so long. And hopefully I'm good at it.
No, you're very good at it.
If I did it since I was 11.
You fly. You've got some serious ups. I got to hand it to you. Yeah. In fact, that kind of makes me think about the first time that I actually saw you was at an audition for The Eighth Voyage of Sinbad.
Yeah.
And when I saw you jump, I think, what did we have you do? How did that go? Do you remember it? Because I know.
So I think we did some vaulting, and then we had to do like a dive roll, and then we had to do, I think it was a front bump. And I've never done any of that stuff.
Wait, I think you did have an option of doing a 3/4 back. Right?
Yeah, but I've never done one before, so I didn't want to do that.
I see.
You don't do that audition special. You don't just throw it at an audition.
So you totally, you listened. You actually listened?
I know, right? Well, that was something that like they would say throughout like all my years of cheerleading and doing acro as well. Like if I can do it at tryouts, I should be able to do it in real life.
Right.
And people would somehow get like doubles at tryouts, and then they couldn't barely do a round off tuck later.
It's that adrenaline. Like when you're in the Olympics, the same thing. Sometimes you'll just I think I can do it.
But we used to do like, I think we called them chicken flips when we would do like a front flip to our back in like cheerleading and stuff. So like I was like, okay, I can do that.
And it's funny because I later found out you can do a 3/4 back.
I can.
And I was like so annoyed. Like, why didn't you do that at the audition?
Because I didn't do it before.
But it was a spin. It was the sweep kick into the jumping hook.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I think you attempted that.
Yeah.
And you got so high, I was like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So that was a good audition.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about your transition from doing like cheerleading into stunts. I mean, how does that work?
I think like for me, it definitely I think works out. It benefits me because so many years of tumbling, and I taught myself how to do a lot of my tumbling. I had like a mental block with people spotting me. So I really had to just feel it out for myself. So I feel like I really understand where my body is at and stuff. And I definitely had some like quirks to get rid of from years of cheerleading and doing acro. Like in acro, you're not allowed to take steps. And I remember you're like, why won't you move your feet? And I was like, because I'm not supposed to. I'm going to get a deduction. So like that was some things that I had to like learn how to figure it out. But
or even the question, wait, I'm allowed to do that? Like, yeah, you're allowed to do it. I didn't say you couldn't. Yeah.
Well, I would always ask you, like, what do you want me to do with my feet? And you're like, well, do what feels natural. And I was like, you're like, don't worry about your feet. And I was like, but I'm worrying about my feet.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think it worked out really well for you. How about like, how did you get into, I mean, was that your first audition?
That was my first audition. Fun fact, I don't know if you know this, but I actually wasn't planning on moving back to Orlando yet. I was still living in Hawaii where I did acrobatics and tumbling, and I was like, I'm going to take a year and just explore the island because I was going to school full time and I was working full time and I was doing acro and like study hours and trying to keep up my grades. So I didn't really get time to explore the island. But I came home for the summer and they were having an audition, and every time I went before, like I looked them up. They were always when I was like at school. And I was like, I really want to do stunts. Let me just go to an audition and like see what I need to work on, like see what it's like, and then I got it. So I did the whole training period, and then I went back to Hawaii, packed up my stuff, and came back.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. So you went to the audition first, but you were still living in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. I did not know that. Like, I'm legit learning that for the first time right now.
I was like, cool. If this is what you want to do for a living, then you gotta try it.
Yeah. And it's awesome because it was your first audition for that company and you got it. And I think a lot of people might feel like, oh man, that's not fair because I've auditioned so many times. But what some people may not really be thinking about is the fact that you put a lot of work into it. I mean, how many years doing cheerleading would you say you've done?
Well, I'm 27 and I started when I was 11. So was that 18?
18 years.
18 years.
Yeah.
So at that time, that was like 5 years ago. So what? 13 years of cheerleading and acro, and I lived at my cheer gym. Me and my sister were like the scholarship kids, so we like helped coach the minis team. I was there every single day. It was like a mile down the road, so I would just like ride my bike over there. Like we lived at that cheer gym. We were those annoying kids. It's fine, but like we definitely put in a lot of work.
You were those annoying kids? I
mean, I still am, but as an adult, everybody can just like walk away from me now. You don't have to feel bad about like being nice to the child.
So let's talk about Hawaii and your twin sister. So a little known fact, she's got a twin sister. Your sister's name is Natalie?
Nancy.
Whoops, let's edit that one out. Let's edit that one out, yikes.
It's close.
It was close. Nancy, wow, okay, so your sister's name is Nancy.
Yes.
And it was while you were both in Hawaii.
Yeah.
That something happened because I'm sitting here on a plane flying to, I can't remember if I was flying to China, if I was flying to Malaysia.
Back.
Back from?
From China.
Okay. Why does she know all this stuff? How do you know this story?
It was like my first like natural interaction with you because before you were like teaching me and training me and stuff.
That makes sense. Okay.
And then we were in fight call and we were just joking around and stuff. And you came in and you were like, I was like, hey, welcome back. And you were like, hey, you'll never guess who I saw on my airplane. And I was like, who? And you were like, you!
Yes, so I saw, first of all, I love how like, she's totally taking charge and like telling me how the story goes. It's my story, but like she knows better than I do, apparently. Yeah, that's true. I was on a plane and I was like, oh, Mike and Dave need wedding dates. And I'm watching this and I'm like, wait a minute, what? Totally not expecting to see you. Not expecting to see you at all. Didn't know you had a twin sister. Yeah. So I rewind it. And you know how much of a pain in the butt it is to rewind that on a plane? It never goes properly.
It's like this big.
Yeah. And it's like, so I went back like 2 minutes and I was like, then I'm trying to skip forward. So anyway, after spending about 45 seconds to get to the spot, I'm watching it again and all I see is, and I'm like, no, wait, is that girl? So I had to like, I paid for internet. I paid for internet to Google that because I'm like, how? And then I'm like, yeah, that's her name. That is totally the girl that, oh my gosh, that was really funny. I got to say like, that was probably the best flight that I've ever had. From a long
my 15 seconds of fame.
Yeah, that was hilarious. So actually, let's pull it up. All right, let's take a look at it right over here. I want to enjoy this.
So, you guys want to go to a wedding? What are your names? Do you guys have names?
Yeah, so that was that. There it goes.
There's our 10 seconds.
Yeah. So what's Nancy been up to?
Nancy is actually a public defender for the Orange County Circuit.
A public defender.
Yeah, she just passed the bar recently. It was a long struggle with like COVID and everything. They kept pushing it back, but she's a public defender now. She's helping out.
Congratulations, Nancy. It's good to know you. You know, we've always had good interactions, right? It's always good to know.
I mean, out of everybody, you would want her to be your lawyer. Like she is. I'm gonna hype her up a little bit, but I love all my siblings. We do this all the time, but you know, she really cares and she does a lot of her research, and I'm so proud of her for getting how far she did, because 3 years in law school and she was the top grade in 4 of her classes. Okay, you want this girl to be a lawyer. She might look young, but she'll take care of you.
That's amazing. Now, you are identical twins, right?
Mm-hmm.
So do you think that you could just one day be like, you know what, I want to know what it's like to be a lawyer. Let me just walk in here and kind of see what's going on. Hey, everybody, what's up? Today, who are we defending?
I don't even have the right pantsuit for that. I'd be way too scared to do that.
That'd be hilarious, though.
People would always ask, because there was one day double booked myself, and they're like, well, why don't you just have your twin jump in? Because she did totally tumbling and stuff. Yeah. So she could probably eventually learn how to do stunts if it was something that she wanted to do. But I was like, well, she doesn't know the fights.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So let's talk a little bit about your school, and what did you go to school for?
I got my bachelor's in communications.
Wow, you got your bachelor's in communications, and now you do stunts.
And I don't do stunts. But I'm talking to you, communicating.
So that's true. How do your parents feel about all those years that you spent in college? You had a scholarship, right, for cheerleading? Mm-hmm. Okay. How do they feel about you being in college and going, to school for all those years, and then now you're just not using it?
Well, I mean, I put myself through college, and I had full rides, or I, have some student loans and stuff. I worked throughout college. I mean, me and my sister are the only ones out of my siblings who did go to college. I think my family, they're more of do what your path takes you. My mom's a very big hippie. It's fantastic. She'll think it's funny. But I know that they're really worried when I first wanted to start doing entertainment. I told myself I was going to get a college degree, and then I was going to give it a try for the entertainment industry, because it's something that I've always wanted to do, but I wanted a backup plan just in case. And I was scared to do it, and I was I'm going to give 1 year, I'm going to give it a nice try and see what happens. And here I am 5 years later.
It worked out. I mean, you are communicating. You are communicating to audiences all across the globe, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so Andrea, we've talked about what kind of prepared you for the world of stunts, but after having your bachelor's in communications and having all this, it seems like you were living in Hawaii, living a good life and whatnot, but why? Why did you want to get into the world of stunts?
So one, I loved performing and I love attention, but I actually...
You don't say, as you keep looking into the camera.
Well, you told me to look into the camera. When I was either 12 or 13, I went and saw my stepmom do the Indiana Jones stunt show. She's a Marion there, and I just fell in love with it. And I was like, that's what I want to do. And lo and behold, many years later, I got to be able to do that show. And funny story, when I was in college, I was dropping my creative writing class, and I told my teacher, well, I'm not going to need it. I'm going to become a stunt performer. I didn't remember that. But him and his family came to see me in show 2 years ago.
Really?
And he was like, hey, do you remember telling me that you were dropping my class because you're going to become a stunt performer? And I was like, no, but it worked out.
That is perfect.
Yeah.
That is perfect.
Yeah.
That's awesome. See, kids, don't stay in school.
Yeah. Do what you want to do. The
moral of the story is
13.
don't stay in school. Just follow your dreams.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's perfect.
I changed my mind throughout my life, but it always came back to stunt performing.
So not even what about being an actor or?
I mean, a stunt actor would be fun.
Yeah.
Like someone who does their own stunts.
Well, it's actually kind of a thing now. I mean, I talked about this with someone else before, but like being able to do your own stunts and act is kind of a big thing because you save a lot of money when you can do that, especially with in the time of COVID. Yeah. Because all the extra costs associated with that.
Well, and I think when you're on set, you do need to have some sort of acting abilities as a stunt person. You can't just like throw some backflips and call it a day.
You know, that's the thing. I actually feel like I don't even call myself a stunt person anymore. Honestly, I'm going to come out today. Okay. I'm coming out. I'm an actor. I'm an actor who acted like a stunt guy a while ago, and I did it relatively all right, I guess, to where people believe that that's what I do. Yeah. But that's not even what I do. I act. I consider myself an illusionist, you know? Like, we sell the illusion of the violence or whatever the action is, and it's not actually happening, you know? Yeah. There's no real, like, intention, but it looks that way. And so, yeah, that's what it is. So I think stunt performers are just another, I don't want to say just, but are another level of acting.
Actors who are really good at moving their body.
Yes.
But not dancing.
Well put. Well put. No offense to the dancers out there, but it is a different thing.
It's very different.
So what has been your favorite experience thus far?
I mean, I love being on a set, and I enjoy working with so many different stunt coordinators and stuff, but I think my favorite experience so far that I feel is the most rewarding was actually when I got to train in as a tumbler for Indiana Jones. I was the first girl in 10 years to train in. There's only been 5, and I was also the first girl to learn all the tracks, because normally they wouldn't teach them every single track because you wouldn't have them do it. But even like the we call it shill fight, but like the guest who comes down and you're like, oh my God, he's part of the show. I even learned how to do that, even though they were never going to have me do it. But like if something happened,
wait, you're saying that wasn't someone from the audience?
You've seen the show, right?
You've just ruined my childhood.
No, you see, they're like, this is our tumbler.
I thought that was somebody from the audience who got punched so specifically, and they rolled back on their head.
On their head, belly flopped and everything.
No, that's awesome. So this is a role that's traditionally reserved for male performers, and you are the first female performer to learn all the roles. And you just killed it.
It was definitely one of the hardest things I've ever done.
How was the training? Was it 6 weeks, right?
It was 9.
9 weeks.
9 weeks. It got extended because of like the weather and stuff, and and the stages outside. And we had a lot of new things we were trying to train on, and sometimes you can't do it when it's raining. But 9 weeks from June, July, August. I kicked my caffeine
coolest months
habit,
out of the year.
Like the first day. The circuits killed me. The hardest thing I've ever done. But I felt like I really grew as like a stunt performer, and as a performer in general, like my endurance just like went up.
Yeah, I remember seeing you after that, and you looked like you lost.
I lost 15 pounds.
Wow. Wait. So why did you stop drinking coffee? What was that?
Well, like when you start doing circuits outside, like it's so hot, it's sweaty. All you want is water. Like you don't want, like I couldn't even drink like Powerade because it was like too sweet. Everything felt heavy. So
Powerade, the drink of choice.
Yeah.
At Walt
Well,
Disney World.
it is. That's what they give you.
That's because they have a contract with Coca-Cola, I think.
Yeah.
So, wow, that's amazing. And I'm sure that a lot of people who are watching this right now love the fact that you said that has been your favorite experience thus far. Cool. So let's talk about what you've been doing recently. So obviously 2020 has been a weird year for everybody.
Yeah.
What are some of the recent things that you've been involved with?
I've been a part of creating a new stunt show.
Mm-hmm.
I got to be part of the Born Stuntacular, which has been great and rewarding in its own sense. And I got to learn from some fantastic people. We had Jeff Amata come, who was one of the, I think he was the second and the third stunt coordinator for the Born movies. So he got to come and teach us, and I've just learned so much from all these people. And that was exciting to be a part of something new, like the first new stunt show in 20 years in Orlando.
That's right.
So that's really what's kept me busy for 2020, which I was very grateful to have that throughout 2020 and that people are enjoying the show.
Right.
Because you never know, like you hope that everybody likes what you're putting out. And then slowly I've been starting to get back into like film and with everything picking up and stuff.
Cool. So you actually were in Oregon recently.
I was.
Right? Are we allowed to talk about that? Can we talk
I can't tell you what it's for,
Don't have to
but
tell
we
me
could.
that, yeah.
I could tell you about the experience.
Yeah, let's talk about the experience, because I know that you were there longer than you thought you were going to be because of some of the events that happened in 2020,
Yes.
namely the pandemic and how the COVID safety regulations. SAG has some really high standards for that. So what happened? I don't even remember. I don't know everything.
Yeah. So we were only supposed to be out there for 12 days. It was a 5-day bubble. We had to get tested before we flew out, and you had to have a negative.
Right.
And then you flew out, and then you're 5 days in a quarantine bubble, like in your hotel room by yourself, and you got tested every single day. So like I would get in my rental car, drive over, get tested, get back to my hotel room, and work on my puzzles that I brought. Trying to keep myself entertained. And then You
ever heard of an Xbox? I don't know. They
in a
those things
hotel?
exist. Yeah.
It was an old school hotel.
Did the TV have an HDMI connection? Because you can just plug your Xbox in
I
there.
didn't bring my Xbox.
Or bring a laptop.
I did bring my laptop.
Okay, good.
I watched a lot of Netflix. But and then it ended up getting pushed back the first time, like a week and a half later. And then right before we were supposed to start filming, unfortunately, like someone had a case. So we went into a 14-day lockdown, which I'm very happy that like they take it seriously, especially when you're on set with a lot of people and like filming a movie, they don't want you to wear a mask. So it's like you're in close quarters with people. Immediately when they call cut, you put it back on.
Right.
I had to mouthwash with this like very specific mouthwash to like clean all the germs out of my mouth so I wouldn't be like breathing anything on people. But I was there for a month and 4 days, filmed for 3 days. Yeah, but it was a lot of fun.
That's not a bad gig. That's actually not a bad gig at all because you're getting paid the whole time.
It was nice, and like I'm lucky that I enjoy my alone time. Right. It was a nice break. It was a nice like decompress from 2020 a little bit, like restarting.
I mean, you were in Oregon too. I mean,
Yeah.
That's not a bad place.
It was
to
like
be.
40 degrees the whole time. It snowed one day. I literally like threw on my winter clothes that I brought from Florida. And I went outside, like had my mask on. I'm just like rolling around like in the snow. And then I had to go back inside.
So I'm really glad to hear that 2020, you got to do a lot of work. You're very fortunate for that, especially, thanks to Universal Studios and the Born Stuntacular. But it has changed kind of the game for everybody. And I'm sure that like pet peeves have arisen. Knowing you, because I know you personally, I know that you've got some pet peeves. All right, let's talk about that. So are there any new pet peeves that have arisen thanks to this pandemic?
People who wear their mask under their nose.
Oh my gosh. Wow. I totally did not plan this.
Is that yours?
No. I wanted to have a little PSA moment for that. Okay, and this is for real. Like, I totally didn't plan this. The fact that you're saying, I didn't know what you were going to say. You're talking about this right here, right?
Yes. Like, things are still coming out of your nose.
Let's talk about this. Does this work for you guys? Does this work?
No.
No, because I can still breathe out and expel water droplets, right? Okay. So that's your pet peeve. When you see people at the grocery store, well, I'm wearing my mask. How about this? I mean, people do this too.
Or when they pull it down to talk to you and you're like, Put it
Oh
back
my
on
God, yeah.
to
So
talk to me.
No, what I'm trying to tell you is, it's like, yeah, the point of having the mask on is
To
have the mask on.
yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about that just for a minute. We're going to take a little brief sidestep here, and this is not endorsed by Under Armour, but I do got to say that masks, like diets, weight loss programs, they're not all the same. Okay, so some weight loss programs will work for some, and some work for others. You got to find the program that works for you, because that's the only way you're going to stick to it. If you have an exercise program, same thing. If you are, oh, everybody does so well with P90X, so I'm going to do it too, and then it doesn't work out, and you're like, well, I guess working out doesn't work for me. Or better yet, let's consider it like dating. Well, I dated once, and it didn't work out, so I guess I'm just not going to date anymore. Like, it doesn't work out that way, right? Like, you try again. And so that's what masks are. I recommend these Under Armour masks because they stay away from your face. You can still hear me, right? It's not like muffling my mouth so much. It's easy to breathe in, but if you don't want to get one of these, like when I wear like regular cloth ones, or, I bought stock in Etsy before the pandemic.
Oh.
It's doing really well.
So.
But if you do order like masks off Etsy, and you're like, I can't breathe in this thing, there are such thing as mask skeletons. Do I have any around here? Mask skeletons that you put inside. Yeah, the one over here. We have these things right here, which you put inside your mask, and it keeps the cloth away from your mouth and your nose so that you can still breathe in it and still wear the mask properly. So
how does that feel like on the side of your face?
Like nothing.
Like nothing.
And they're made out of different materials. Some of them are made out of silicone. This is made
I really
out of
like
plastic.
when I work out, or when I have to do something like stunt-wise with a mask on. I like the ones with the boning in it because I have asthma, so I really need that space to breathe.
Yeah, when you sweat, if you don't wear one of these or have boning inside the mask, then it's like waterboarding.
Yeah.
Every time you breathe, it's like
and
getting
it's just
sucked
like
in.
you breathe and the mask goes inside, and it's like.
Right, exactly. So guys, don't give up on wearing a mask just because what you've been doing doesn't work. And when you say things like, I can't wear a mask, or, wearing masks don't work, when you say it with such animus, without having the experience of other things and trying out other methods, I don't know. I mean, just try other ways. Anyway. So that is your pet peeve, wearing masks under the nose. Okay. Yeah. And talking. I think we have the same pet peeves, because that really bothers me.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that the companies that we work for and the union that represents us has been really big about wearing masks, because it's not a joke. I mean, here's the thing. Even if you don't believe in it, right? Like it's irrelevant, because your job requires you to do that.
Yeah. 100%.
And my thing is, why don't you just be polite about it? What would you say if I sneezed right here? Like, if I sneeze, what do you say? What's the normal American thing to do?
Bless you.
Right. But does anybody out there actually believe that I need a blessing after I sneeze?
Isn't it because every time you sneeze, your heart stops a little bit? Is that why we're supposed to say bless you? Well, fun fact of the day about me is that when I sneeze, it's never once or twice. It's always at least 7 to 15 times. So my heart stopped the whole time.
So they bless you 7 times.
Well, normally they're like, oh, I already blessed you. And I'm like, you don't have to say anything. I'm sorry, being dramatic. My allergies.
Yeah, I would be willing to agree that I don't think that whether they bless you or not, that's going to have any effect on you, because your body's working the way it should.
Yeah.
Right? But the fact is that we say it because it's polite.
Yeah.
So why not just be polite and wear the mask?
And just wear a mask.
Especially when it's your job that's telling you to do it, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So Andrea, let's talk about some of your social media handling. Do you have an Instagram?
I do have an Instagram. It's Andrea Miceli. Pretty simple to it.
How do you spell that?
DR.
Right here. We're going to do this.
Right here is my Instagram handle.
There it goes.
I've actually I was thinking about it the other day when I was up in Oregon, actually, about just creating one just for stunts.
Okay.
Because I have friends and family from all over. I've definitely lived in large places. So I tend to use my social media just for whatever. But it's become such a big part of entertainment.
Yeah.
And it's how you kind of, especially now with COVID and everything, it's kind of how you advertise yourself. I definitely know that the recent stunt coordinator looked me up. The people that I work for right now, they love Facebook. They stalk it all the time.
Wait, what's Facebook? Sorry, I thought we were in the new generation of like Instagram and TikTok. I can't keep up with all this stuff. I don't even look at Facebook anymore because I'm trying to deal with Instagram.
Yeah.
Like, so that's the crazy thing. We got to do like, you got to do the Instagram.
You've got the
gotta
Instagram,
do
the Twitter, the Facebook,
Twitter. That's another.
the
I forgot about
TikTok.
Twitter. TikTok.
I don't know the other ones.
Snapchat.
Yeah, that's.
I got to
right.
keep up on my Tinder. It's crazy. This is just getting out of hand.
Your Tinder?
I'm just kidding.
Do you put your stunt reel on it?
Nice stunt reels on there. That's how I get a lot of hits.
It's how you're advertising the Stunt Collective.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's how we get a lot of people in here.
Yeah, it's weird.
Wow.
It's a weird time.
So Facebook. Okay, yeah, I'm probably gonna have to like revisit that on Facebook.
Well, it's just because I have a lot of like family members who like to check up on my Facebook, and so I try to keep them updated and stuff.
Yeah, Facebook is where you can actually have like dialogue. You can like rant and rave and like complain about stuff.
I never do that.
That's why I don't look at Facebook anymore, because that's all it is like people complaining. And now, same thing with Instagram stories, political this, political that. And it's like, oh my gosh, can we just stop with that? Well, anyway, really good having you on the show. I think we got to have you back again.
Yes, I would love to.
Because there are a lot more subjects that I'd like to like talk about with you that I think for this initial kind of introduction, there just isn't enough time. But if you'd be willing to come back, we'd love to have you back.
Anytime.
Cool. Well, that's it for the day. That's it for
Well, that's it for today, you guys.
There you go. Thanks.
Next time, I'll be interviewing you.
So she's going to interview me next. This has been great. You need to be like just somehow here, somewhere helping me out.
You know that I actually in college. So
I mean,
like,
you went to school for communications.
Well,
so.
and I did musical theater, and I was also a one of the anchors for the Wallace State News.
Really?
So like we
That's
had
why
like,
you keep looking at that camera. So
yeah,
much.
and I'm like we had like a teleprompter and everything. Like it's still on YouTube of me just being like today, and like nobody watched it.
Wait. We are watching it right now.
Welcome to the latest edition of the Wallace State News for Monday, April 7th. We hope everyone had a great spring break. I'm Andrea Miceli, and today we'll be taking a look at the latest news and upcoming events. This week in athletics, come out and support the Wallace State Lady Lions softball team. On April 22nd, they will take on Calhoun Community College. On Wednesday, they will face against Columbia State, and on Friday, they'll come up against New State. All games will begin at 4 p.m. and will be held in the Bobby McCracken Softball Stadium. Tomorrow, come out and support the Lions basketball teams when they take on Motlow State. The women's game starts at 5:30 p.m. and the men's game at 7:30 p.m. In the Tom Drake Coliseum, students get in for free. Come out and listen to the Wallace State Jazz Band perform its annual Christmas concert on Sunday, December 1st. It will be held in the Borough Center Recital Hall from 2 to 3 p.m. Admission is free. Sunday, January 12th, Wallace State will host the Miss Wallace State pageant. This is a preliminary scholarship pageant and is part of the Miss America organization. It will be held in the Betty Lee Haynes Theater beginning at 3 p.m. The deadline to enter the Miss Wallace State pageant is today. Please visit wallacestate.edu/Miss Wallace State for more information. There will also be a fairy tale feast on Saturday, November 9th at 11 a.m. I'm Andrea Miceli.
And I'm Daniel Hollis. Thanks for watching this edition of the Wallace State News.
That was amazing. Thank you so much for letting that spill. I hope you guys enjoyed that. And I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. That was Andrea Miceli, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us on the new rebranded The Stunt Collective Podcast. Andrea, we'll see you, I'm probably going to see you pretty soon.
See you next time.
And I'll see you guys in the next episode. Be sure to subscribe. Hit the like button if you liked it. And even if you didn't like it, just, be nice. So before I go, I got to let you guys know, these are the social media handles you got to watch out for. IG at The Stunt Collective, IG at King Monkey Films, and you can look up King Monkey Films on Facebook.com. I'm not really sure. What do the kids say these days? It's like FB at, you don't do at sign in front of it, right? It's just the name of it. You just do a search.
Type it in the search bar.
Okay. It was simple. Okay, great. Well,
Look
thanks
it
again.
up. Type it in the search bar on Facebook and give us a nice like.
The Andrea Miceli Show, everybody. See you next time. That was awesome.
Email Chris at Nib.
Yeah, I was expecting more to go on. Oh, are you ready?
No. Yes. That's definitely.
No, Wallace, darn it. Wallace, what is the DJ? So close. popping and dying on day.
Thank you for joining us on this Halloween edition of the Wallace State News.
Ew, do not make that noise. Are you interested in traveling to China? Well, you should totally do the robot when you walk in. Please check back next week on the Mum the Sniff. So close.
We all those birds. There's one.
And the shift from print. I need this to be faster.